All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Anime Brothers with your host. I'm DiscipleDashni. That's TySoFly over there. Let's get into it. We got some manga chapter reviews going on for you. What the latest we got? We got last week's My Hero Academia.
Yep.
We got to catch up on last week's One Punch Man. And then we can go back to where I am currently in the Fire Force manga. Yes. So how do you? So what were your thoughts on what was it? It was chapter 293.
Yeah. My Hero Academia chapter 293.
All right. What were your feelings on it?
Um, I I liked it. Reasons for they explained why Lumillion got his powers back. Because was it chapter before when he showed up, or was it two chapters? I know it was one of the two. I was like, one, I was happy because Lemillion. I feel like he's one of the top heroes, all that stuff. But also wanted to know how he got his powers back. Like, obviously, it had to be from Eri, but did she have control? Was it just kind of like a fluke accident, like she touched him or something? But this chapter explained it all, and that was one of the reasons why I liked it. And then the second reason was that in the middle when Bakugo came back, oh, dudes with the jet legs. I forgot his name.
Oh, and
Uh,
Jenny,
yeah,
Ida Kun,
yeah. There it is. Ida. Yeah.
Ida.
When Ida when so basically when they all came um to help Genus, I thought that was pretty sick. Because it was like, it's is he going to be able to contain Mech
Giant
Machina?
giant giant Makia.
Yeah, Makia. Is he going to be able to contain him? Are the Numo's going to get him, and he's going to get released? All that, and then they all show up. So, you know, I mean, kind of predictable, but still loving it.
The chapter was definitely pretty. I mean, it was beast in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Like you said, like the million, like because he's one of the big three of UA. He's not one of my favorite characters. I know like a lot of people love him, but I think he's cool. He's just not really one of my favorite characters right now. Like I'm all about the class 1A and some of 1B. Um, focused on those guys, but you had a feeling that he was gonna. Well, I know you were thinking that he was gonna get his powers back, and of course, when he did, it's like it was interesting to see how they develop it. We got more in depth of the training that they're doing with Eri
That's true.
to help her control her powers. And he's just like, well, she's been working on lizards and stuff like. It's always lizards. Whenever experiments like happen, like you see, like it's always on lizards. Like they're usually the first go to.
Poor lizards, man.
Yeah.
Poor lizards.
But she was able to, and she was getting some progress done. Like obviously they're not where they would want to be for
Mm-hmm.
her powers, but Lemillion was just like, okay, well, you know what? I trust her enough. Like, please check to see if you can reverse the power, and it worked. So he got his powers back and was able to come through. Yo, this dude, but Bakugo, man, this dude got issues, man. He's
Yeah.
like, he has what? How many holes in his body from getting punctured by
And
Shigaraki?
he's still fighting, bro.
Yeah,
Love
he's
it.
yeah. Yo, but my favorite, like he's trying to do this grand speech, and he's just like, "Oh, you're finally up, Bakugo." And he's just like, "Nah, that name's dead."
Yo,
Yo,
yo, finish it with that name. Finish.
yo, this dude comes with the most. I hold on. I gotta go look back again because
Oh,
like I forgot
oh,
what the name was. But
yo,
he
I
was just
got
like,
it.
"It's."
I got
What
it.
was the
He
name?
called
What was it?
himself Great Explosion Murder God Dynamite.
Yo, if he had just stuck with like dynamite, I was like, okay, maybe that would work. But nah, he always got to be the full thing, and then everybody was just like,
What?
Genius was like, that's another dud. Everybody was like, yo, that's way too long. It was like, you got to be kidding me. And then the man was just like, haha, that's kind of funny. He's just like, yo, it's not a funny name.
He was like, it's serious.
Like, oh gosh, Bakugo. Like, what if this dude is ridiculous with the. I was like, why? It's so unnecessary. That name is way too long, and I'm just like, wow. Hold up, I gotta see everybody. Yeah. So, Vegeta was like, "Oh, it's another dud." Ida was like, "That's way too long."
Yep.
Nejiri was like, "That's chaotic." Yeah, even the villains got on his
Yo.
case. Even the
I was
villains got on his case. One was like tacky and then spin. The only person who like liked it was like Spinner. Spinner was just like, "That's kind of cool." It was like, no, it's not
it
kind of
wasn't.
cool.
It was.
And then the minute just laughed at him. I was like, "You gotta be kidding me!" And then all of a
Yep.
sudden, it's like Deku's trying to still like find the strength to get back into this battle, and he's
Mm-hmm.
starting to work that way. But
Uh,
honestly, I want to see the more development between Todoroki and I mean, sure, I say Todoroki. They're both Todorokis. So Shota and Toya, because that's
I
interesting.
I was just gonna say I think that's gonna happen in the next chapter, just because the way this chapter ended with Toya versus Shoto, and then um Deku, Dek, Dek,
Deku.
dang, Deku. Man, I have to keep thinking like a torch or something. But Deku, he comes in just for like split second, which he updated that his ability. That was kind of cool, using styling his black whip the same as what's her name, Froggy.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. So you use like Froggy's power, like
Yeah,
that
and he
was
styled
smart.
his.
Like I'm saying, there's always a development, and this is like one of the reasons why I love this show so much because like yeah, they're heroes, but like they're also kids, so they're learning every step of the way to try and improve their powers. It's interesting to like be on that journey with them.
Yeah.
For both sides too, is like you have the heroes and also the League of Villains. They're not maxed out at their power yet.
Mm-mm.
So they're not just infinitely strong. Like they're both kind of like on the same level, each side growing along as the story progresses and every time they get into battle.
So, question for you. Um, just based off like other animes and things I've read and seen, do you think Toya's gonna have a change of heart later, moving forward?
Nah. Right now, I'm gonna say no. I kind of don't want. I like to see him like. I want to have him like on the bad side, just to like give Todoroki that like that complex, to give Shoto that complex, just so he can have something like a goal to work towards to try and bring
Mm-hmm.
it back, but it never actually works. Right now, he's determined to self-destruct, like,
Oh yeah, for
or
sure.
have them both go up in flames, and he simply doesn't care because like he wants them both dead just to see Endeavor, just to give Endeavor that final pain.
Mm-hmm.
So right now he's looking like a lost cause, but it's gonna be interesting, like if Endeavor finally like breaks out of that like snap he's in, because he's basically frozen and paralyzed with like shock and terror. So
Um,
I'm not even
he
terror.
actually,
Like he's like he was in shock for a while, but I think he
yeah,
finally like broke out of it in
yeah,
this last
from
chapter.
Deku's words,
Yeah.
it kind of like snapped him out of it. I don't
So
know if he's like fully snapped out of it, but like he at least moved. He moved.
yeah. So now it's gonna be interesting to see if we can have to see Endeavor and Shoto team up against Dabi to see how he does against those two.
Mm, that'd be a sick battle.
It would be.
I'm going to make a prediction that after like all those battles and all that stuff, um, Toyo's obviously not going to lose, but they're Endeavor and Shoto, they're not going to die either. I think Toya, with his like last like breath or change of heart or whatever, he's going to sacrifice himself and do something against the League of Villains.
Really?
Yep, that's my plot twist.
That's interesting. What makes you think that?
Um, I think that odd bond between Toya and it's the other brother.
Natsu?
Yes, Natsu. Oh crap, I should know that because it's from Fairy Tale. But I think Toya and Natsu's like that bond from way back then. I know he's like suppressing it now and saying it doesn't matter and stuff, but I think it's gonna bubble up at some point, and I think he'll make that last like ditch thought and just try and save, not Endeavor. I don't think he'll want to do that. I think he'll change his mind towards Shadow, Shoto,
Shoto.
Shoto.
That's the best. Like, so I think because see, I'm on the complete opposite, and I think he's just going to go completely insane and either kill himself or just go back with the league. That'd be a tough blow to the League of Villains though if they have Dobby like die or kill himself because he's definitely one of their like strongest members.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And but he, I think he's way too far gone with his hate and endeavor to go back, and like he really wants and to hurt Endeavor so much he's willing to kill Shoto. I think he's too far gone. They might bring him back, but I think he's too far gone. Like even if it's not too far gone, I don't want. For me personally, I just don't want him to like come back to the good side because like we don't even really see him. Because it's weird to say come back to the good side because we don't really even see him as a good person at all. We just
Mm.
know his training as a kid, but Endeavor pushed him too hard. Personally, I want him to stay on the bad side. Just like, yo, Endeavor, like, this is the product of your own doing. You need to be better, or else you keep it up. Even Shoto could end up like that.
True.
But I'm loving this dynamic. And it was crazy
Right.
though. I thought the one was done for because freaking Great Mock Giant Makia, this dude started breaking out and started ripping the threads, and it was just
Even
like,
I.
yo, and he was like, yo, we were it was about to be over, and then all of a sudden we were just like, nah, we got words up from the other villains like the antidote work or the medicine work for
Yeah.
the sleeping medicine. I was like, wow.
Yeah. What did he say? Yeah, he was just like power suddenly all gone, like right after he broke free of the um the threads.
Yeah, best geniuses threads.
Mm-hmm.
So
So.
that was crazy. This was a good arc.
Mm-hmm.
Like when like it's not even over yet. I think it's probably
Yeah.
gonna be over in like a couple, one or two more chapters, maybe three. But this was definitely a great arc.
And what's crazy about this arc is I can't like make a prediction of how it will end. Like I can't. Yeah, I can't make a definitive prediction. It's just like there's too many scenarios that I think could happen to end it.
Mm-hmm. And if
So
Great Maki is knocked out, how they're gonna get away with Shigaraki because he's beat, his body's burned like and he's beat. So there's no way he's walking. So it's just like how they gonna get out of here.
I don't know. Maybe Shigaraki wakes up, he gets a power boost. I just a whole bunch of possibilities that we don't know. Because in all honesty, I kind of forgot about the that medicine thing that they gave the giant. So when they brought it back up in this chapter, I was like, oh yeah, forgot that even happened. So there's probably something else that happened in previous chapters that I forgot, and they're gonna bring up in the next chapter. Like, oh yeah, that's why he can wake back up. He'll get 4 power. Like this, I bet you there's something.
Well, that's just thing because his transfer for all the quirks wasn't even his transformation wasn't complete. They stopped it.
That's right. That's right.
Not to mention, all for one is still like in
Controlling
his
him.
head, trying to take over the body, and he's like having none of that.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a good conflict to try and make him like he's OP, but not too OP to the fact that they can't beat him. He has his drawbacks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But yeah, I agree. Overall, this chapter was fire.
Yeah, and I'm interested to see what happens with the latest chapter for 294. Now for
It's
One Punch. Now on to One Punch Man. This
whew.
was 133.
I have 134.
All right, well yeah, 134. You're right. Now this
Chapter one.
was this was ridiculous because the last two chapters I completely hated, especially the last chapter. I thought that was complete garbage. because they just focused on my mask, and I'm just like, I can't stand that guy at all. Like, he has no redeeming qualities about him. Like, oh, in the presence of ugly, that's his weakness because he thinks he's so beautiful.
That's a horrible weakness.
And I'm just like, what is going on here? And so he starts
Oh,
beating, and so like his dudes like he starts like it was just a whole like psyche breakdown of my mask. And I'm just like, I don't care about his
yeah.
psyche. It's
It
so
was a horrible chapter.
yeah, it was so unnecessary.
Mhm.
And then this chapter more I like more baby because so it started off with but I guess like as much as I hated the last chapter, I guess it kind of works in conjunction with this chapter to build it
Mhm.
up because then this chapter started off with what was it like super
Luster.
so yeah, super blackluster. What's his name? Is like super
Yeah.
blackluster alloy or
Yeah,
whatever.
like that's his full name.
Yeah. And so he starts going through a breakdown because he got his ass beat by Garu. And then he starts talking about, but and that's the thing. Like, you can't feel bad about that because Garu is one of like the toughest villains. He's probably gonna be end up being the toughest villain in the entire series, maybe
Yeah.
because he
And
just keeps getting stronger every time he gets beat to the brink of death.
correct. So I also think I'm just gonna call him Luster for short. I don't think Luster should be so upset because like in any other villain, Luster most likely would have beaten him, like
Oh yeah,
hands down. But no matter how hard you punch, how hard you beat, how even if you put him to the brink of death, Garu's gonna come back, Saiyan style, and power up. So there was no winning for Luster. So you shouldn't feel
yeah.
bad.
But it's interesting. Like they use that for him to explain like his like terror of Garu, and it's like, yo, this guy isn't the same as all these other villains. It's crazy. And then you see like from Garu's point of view, with his mind is just like, yeah, he's like, I finally figured out what I want to do. Is like I finally believe I can reach the threat level of God. And it's like,
Mm-hmm.
yo, Garu's getting stronger.
Yep.
It is getting
It,
intense.
what do you think his theory of what the world should be? What do you think of that?
Oh,
Garo's theory.
he said it will instead of like what buying his judgment, it was like implicit.
He called it implicit. What did he call it? Bullion.
And it's sad that I can't remember considering I just read this.
Oh, he said the world doesn't need biased justice; it needs
Yeah,
impartial evil.
my bad. Yeah, that's right. Impartial. Garu has a weird way of looking at things.
Yeah, because he thinks the impartial evil will basically he says this join it'll get everyone to join hands in thankfulness at simply being alive.
Because like yeah, and it's like yo, everyone everywhere will cringe in fear.
Mm-hmm. I was like, that's twisted, bro. But I still can't even tell. Like, I mean, I know he wants to be like a demon and everything, but I can't tell. I don't even think he has a side. He's not
It's
on the
one
human side.
it's one of those twisted worldview things. It's like you said, he's like, oh yeah, injustice and those responsible for it are gonna disappear. It's like in a world where like he's trying to cause so much fear that he's trying to bring the world to a state where just the fact that we're a mere survival is a struggle just to survive.
Mm-hmm.
All the evil deeds will go away because of the fact that just the point of trying to live is a struggle. People won't be focused on trying to do evil deeds,
Mm.
which is great. Guys, that's basically like it's like like Yagumi without the death note. It's just like, yo, I'm
Oh.
gonna start killing off all these people discriminately to reduce a world of fear. It's like they're gonna live in so much fear that they won't do evil deeds.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like that's really not the best way of going about things. It's like, nah, you're just evil.
Yeah. Uh, but then what was funny is Omni Mask wasn't he like he was one of the people to cheer up or kind of cheer up Luster?
Yeah,
Was it?
so now I find it funny. Like he came through and then he just started like kicking Luster, and he was just like, "Yo, you know," he's like, "Why are you feeling bad?" It was like, "Aren't you ashamed of your own like whining and excuses?" And then everybody else was just like, "Yo, bro, weren't you just in a panic attack just like a few seconds ago?" You're like, "Yo, you kidding me?"
Oh man.
But yeah, they use that, and I guess because of my mask was the one who was in like that panic state before, he was the best person to try and break Luster out of it.
Mm-hmm.
But my favorite part though is like nothing was working on Luster. He was still in like his state of panic, and then pure prisoner was just like, "Yo, if you don't get up, I'm gonna give you a deep kiss." And then you see
Yo,
it stand up instantly. He's like, "Yo, yeah." I
oh
was
man.
dying.
Oh man.
I was
You kiss.
dying. I'm telling you, pure prisoner is one of the funniest people on the show.
And dude's basically always naked. Like,
it,
just
it
like gets
is
him.
ridiculous. That's his ability. And then when he gets the
No.
angel wings too, I'm just like,
Oh
why?
yeah.
They go so extra with him.
My dude's definitely he's a character, but I like him. I mean,
Yeah,
he's got the he's got heart, man. He really cares for his comrades.
he does.
Mm.
But they just use that to build up like the characters, and then now they're actually gonna start working together. Usually they're just like solo or whatever, or do their own thing. The only people like you really see in a group that work like group wise, that's like the Ting Top crowd. Speaking of which, Ting Top Master joined the fight
Yep, yep.
finally on that
And
freaking like I can't believe he tossed that thing and just rode it
yep.
and then flew on that whatever. Like he broke off a piece of a building.
I think that was a boss move. I mean,
Was
how else you gonna make a boss entrance without
I mean
doing that?
he's the only one of the Ting Top gang that I respect.
Yep.
That's it. Everybody else is just a bunch of
Uh,
jabronis.
you know what kills me? He at least knows his power level because he came in saying, "I'm here to help support." He didn't say, "I'm here to
Yeah.
save the day." He was like, "I'm gonna support you guys," and I mean, they everyone generally looked like they were happy to see him.
That is true.
Mm-hmm. So, but yeah, I think, like you said, this chapter is basically just a lead up to get all the S class heroes working as a team, which could be, a good thing because we don't. I mean, separate, they're decently strong. I mean, they're obviously stronger than everyone else separately, but together could be limitless.
True.
Mm-hmm.
But I like how the samurai was just like, all right, we're gonna team up, and then everyone was just like, whoa, you want to team up? He's like, yeah, you sure? Yeah, you're the master swordsman.
Yeah. Wait.
Start questioning them.
I feel like he made a threat too. Like, yeah, what? Yeah, we should start cooperating. Blah blah. Blah. Oh yeah, yeah. No, that just. Oh yeah, he says he'll strike them if they don't go with the plan.
Oh yeah,
Dude's
you got
hilarious.
you got to have that thread in there somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Nah, it
But
was a good chapter. I'm interested, but I really they need to either put the focus back. That was a good moment, but I'm ready for the focus to be back on Tornado in her battle. Even though Drive Knight's in there, I still can't trust Drive Knight.
you know, so I want that to come back. I want Garu. I mean, we just got a glimpse of it, so I'm expecting him to come out and start fighting. And I want Saitama to get out of that. Like he can bust himself out of that. We all know he can do it. Just
Yeah,
do
he
it.
can. That's what I'm saying. It doesn't make any sense why he's being trapped with that little demon or whatever. I mean, it's
All right.
funny. Their conversations with each other are hilarious, but
Yep.
there should be no reason why Saitama is still trapped
Yeah.
in there
Makes
because he could have punched himself out ages ago.
yeah, makes zero sense. I'm over here just like, what the hell?
Nah,
He, he,
I'm also ready for my boy King to come back into the scene.
okay, stop it.
Yo, the King's roar, man, the King's engine. I need that. I
I can't
need
with the
that.
king. I can't with the king. Oh my goodness.
Yo, that dude is gold. He is gold. I need the king's engine.
Just he just happens to be in the right spot at the right time all the time and gets credit. It kills me. I can't stand him.
It is hilarious. Because all you see this dude's heart beating so loud, everybody's just like, oh yeah, King's ready to fight. He's just like, nah.
It's terrifying. Oh man, that's that dude's a. I mean, he's a comic relief. I like him for that.
Exactly. Yo, imagine if it's just like, yo, down the road, you find out King actually has like some beast fighting ability.
That'd be sick.
That'd be
I
crazy.
and he just never knew.
It's like, because he's never had to do anything.
Yeah, king. Uh, but yeah, no, that concludes the One Piece. I mean, One Punch. Sorry, wrong
Wow.
anime. Wrong anime.
Wow. You want peace on the brain.
Every time I say one, it's always going to end with peace because of my boy Monkey D. Luffy. But anyways, that's for another day. That's for another day.
It's on your own time.
Yeah. Let's
So Fire Force, I
yes,
am
sir.
on. I just last place I left off was chapter. Let me see. Chapter. All right, so I'm on my. I'm on. I just finished 159, so I'm on 160. So leading up to where I last left off, um,
159.
a bunch of stuff happened, but for the main parts of me catching up, like the main stuff, they just left. They had just left the island
Mm-hmm.
where with the penguin, and we talked about that. And they discovered that there might be a link between. They discovered that the preacher created the Holy Soul Temple, and that Amaterasu was created by using people with the Adora burst, with the Adola burst.
Yep.
So, and they've discovered that you need 8 people to you got to have 8 to sacrifice to him to start it.
It, with 8 pillars. Yeah.
Yeah, for the 8 pillars. And then because of the fact that the preacher started the Holy Soul Temple or whatever, that led the 8th to believe that there's a connection between Hajima and the preacher. So the 8th went to go investigate Hajima, and there was and you find out that Hajima had, what was it? I think it was the 5th, no, the 6th Adola burst
Mm-hmm.
when Nadaku, and that led to an insane. So the 8th went to go investigate, and of course, when there's a Adola burst around, the White Hoods or the Knights of the Ashen Flame, they obviously know about it, so they came through, and that led to a three-way battle between the 8th, Hajima, and the Knights of the Ashen Flame. But you tell me, you give me your thoughts, because you obviously you're way ahead of me. So you give me your thoughts on what you were going through during that battle.
During that battle, so I when how'd you, I don't even know how to pronounce his name. The leader of the seventh is not. That's what his squad is, right? Hajime.
No. Hydra is like that company, that Vulcan that's like stole Vulcan's family's techniques or whatever, or
Oh,
equipment.
oh,
The seventh is with like Benny Hama. Like
yeah.
that
That's
was
who I
the
was thinking of. Okay, never mind. Wrong one. So I just I just recapped on 159 just so I can put my memory back.
that's the
But
latest chapter I read. But before
yeah,
leading up to it, I before that we had to go to the battle between the 8th Hajima and the the White Hoods, because
it,
that was because obviously they're looking to Shimmer's trying to protect not to go their Adorabers, because he had just, especially after their failure with the 5th one. But that girl is insane.
yeah,
She has but she has that sweet ability to trace
target.
the fire, and like she
Yeah.
could see when fires are about to start. And then her own personal ability is she has the line where if she traces it from start to finish, it'll cause an explosion.
Hmm.
And she's obsessed with danger.
She's crazy.
And then
Uh,
oh no, what were you gonna say?
I was gonna say so. The battle. I'm just trying to my memory back to the battle. Is that the one where they're facing um the knight who calls himself Dragon?
No. This oh
Dang.
this is when they're at the facility, and this is when we get introduced to Kurino, the guy who calls himself the Shinigami, the crazy dude.
Shinigami. Crazy
He calls himself Shinigami,
dude.
and he's
Drawing
just like
blank.
bullying. He's obsessed with like beating up on the weak. He doesn't want to fight strong opponents. He just likes bullying the weak.
Oh,
Anyway,
I know where we are. Yeah. Okay. I got you. So this is with the little kid.
yes,
Okay.
not
Now
a
I know where we're at.
not so cool.
Yeah. It's tough for me with names because I'm
Yeah,
not good with.
that is an understatement of the year. Understatement
Yeah.
of the year.
Um. Yeah. All right. So what my thoughts are on that part. I think one that guy's twisted. I don't know
Mhm.
what why he's like that. I mean, I think they do go into it later, but um the fact that he needs the weak. So this dude is like really strong, but he doesn't fight strong opponents. It's almost a waste for him to be as strong as he does is because he doesn't fight other strong opponents. He just likes beating on weaker opponents. And so the government uses him to help build up this child who's another pillar to make this kid stronger.
Yep.
So in that essence, it kind of makes sense, but he's also just like a really mean teacher.
Yeah, he's really just twisted. Like he doesn't
Yeah.
even care about it being a teacher aspect. It's just,
Yeah.
oh, there's someone weak I can beat up on.
Mhm.
That's what I'm gonna do. And like you see that through all the battle, he keeps trying to switch his target to whoever he finds are the weakest.
Mhm.
But I like all of these. Shimmer went crazy with what Shinra was fighting. Obviously, in this attempt to save Natsuko, he's gonna fight the White Hoods. And oh, what was his name? The White Hood. That's like the one with the blindfold, the big body, and like he has to speak out his commands.
Oh, I know who you're talking about.
Hey,
I know his name though. Couldn't tell
hey,
you his
that's
name.
it is
He's
crazy. Like I just think I would have I like had these memorized just by reading it from
mhm.
completely.
No, he's the knight for the chick pillar where she can control I want to say electricity so
Yeah,
she
so
can't.
yeah, and we find out that, and that's what I was gonna say is like we find out like all of the pillars have a bodyguard,
Mhm.
and so he's Haumea's. I really don't know how to pronounce her name, but I think I'm gonna go with Haumea just because it's Haumea. So I'm gonna say Haumea for now.
Mhm.
So he's her bodyguard, and she is no, but he's beast. Like he has to speak out his commands or whatever.
What else is this beast about him is he can inflict whatever damage you apply to him to you. It's almost like
Mhm.
a full counter, kind of. It's almost like that.
Yeah. But I like how during the what's it called? My bad. During the my bad, it's Sharon. That's his name. His name is Sharon.
Oh, okay.
Sharon. But yeah, but I like how during that when they were actually I know that's why you were thinking about when they were doing the seventh, because when they did the mission with the seventh troop, he was there as well, and that's when Shimmer found out how to like counteract his ability.
Yep.
I believe so. Yeah, Shimmer was able to counteract, but then it's like obviously once you learn to counteract it the first time, he knows about it, so it wasn't gonna work. But he's fighting Sharon, and then Sharon like explains how each pillar uh has a bodyguard.
Hmm.
And so, but the thing is, So his thing about Sean, obviously he's evil, he's part of the White Hood, but he's loyal to his cause in defending Pillar, because even when they get Nataku or Nataku, I don't even. I'm just gonna call him Nataku. It just sounds better it just sounds better for me saying it. When they get
Got you.
Nataku, when he gets thrown into the Inferno and became that big giant one, like the
Hmm.
try to attack Shimmer, he actually defended Shimmer, and Shimmer's just like, "Yo, what's going on?" He's just like, "Listen, you're a pillar. My job is to defend pillars, so I'm gonna
Facts.
defend you." I was like, "Oh, okay." I was like, "You know what? You're about that job." It's like, you know what your job is, no matter which side is a pillar is a pillar, you're going to
Hmm.
defend it. So I thought that was kind of cool.
No, I respect his loyalty and his what his responsibility is as a bodyguard for the pillars.
Oh, and the way he defended the incinerator ray or the radioactive
Mm.
way. What was it called? It's called, he has the not the Kuz Adora ability. It's called the what? Im- it was like impossible trauma. Not impossible trauma. That was dumb. It's something with an I, because he had, because obviously like in his head, like how Mia just what was it? She manipulated his mind into thinking
Hmm.
Rekka was still alive, and it's like Rekka kept torturing him, because obviously if you're watching Fire Force, like even if, like obviously the spoilers, like we're gonna, if you haven't read it, then if you haven't read up to this point, then you shouldn't be listening to this episode anyways. But obviously Natsuku is the little kid that Rekka put implanted the bugs in back in season one
Yep.
when he was going crazy, and so he's manifesting his ability. But he finally got it, and it's called the. Why can't I should really? You know what? I'm bad. I should really start writing these things down as soon as I'm reading it, because they said his it's a radioactive ignition ability, but it's called something, and forgot the name of it.
What's the boy's
Trying to
name
look it up
again?
right now. Nataku, Nataku. I'm trying to figure out his Adola burst ability,
Looking it up too.
and this is bothering me because it was called a cool name. Because with the ignition ability, he can do the claw from his right arm, but he also has the other one,
Appearance, personality,
which does made him go
ability,
radioactive.
ignition ability, radioactive energy. Oh, I'm not seeing a name for it. I'm seeing like definitions of it.
Oh, there we go. It's his imagine. It's imagination. The infected, like it's something like infected of imagination or whatever. Let me go back.
Well, he can forge in a dual link with others using emotions such as desperation and fear.
Yeah, because he formed an Adola link with um
Humera or Humari.
no with Shinra.
Oh yeah.
So he formed that Adola link with Shinra, and then he, what's it called? And then he kind of kicked Shinra out. He's like, "Yo, get out of my head." Mm, yeah, it was something about his imagination, because obviously she was manipulating his uh mind.
Yeah.
I think it was infected imagination. So I just want the correct term, so that's why I'm looking at the chapter. See if I can find that
Oh
again.
yeah. It is infected imagination. I found one place that calls it that. Infected imagination is a third generation technique used by Nataku-san.
Okay. So yeah, and so that was what was making him like completely stronger because his aggression was rising, and the more he was agitated, the radioactive waves were getting stronger. And so it ended up being like a tag team with Sharon, Shinra, and Kurino, the Shinigami, to try and stop Natsuku. Yo, but the funniest thing is when Shinra was like, when Shinra was talking to Kurino, he was just like, yo, we gotta work together. And Kurino just looked dead at him and was just like, yo, are you my employer? He's like, yo, what? He's like, yo, we gotta do this. Are you my employer? The fact that he repeated was just like, yo, you're literally not paying. It was basically just like, yo, you don't pay me. I'm not listening to a word you say. It
Yep.
was like, yo, are you my employer? And he said it twice. I was crying. And he was like, yeah, are you freaking kidding me? We're gonna die. Are you my employer? He's just like, and then when he saw that things were getting tough, he's like, nah, I quit. I'm gonna find a new job. And Shiver's just like, yo, are you serious right now?
The kid get too strong, so he was like, "Nah,
Yeah,
I'm
he was
over
like,
it."
nah. He's like, yeah, I'm over it. I quit finding a new job. And then all of a sudden he gets the phone call from his employer and he's just like, they're like, yo, protect the kid. He's just like, yo, are you serious? He's kind of strong, like, protect the kid. He's just like, fine, all right. But then he goes into like some hyper state. No, well, not really hyper state, but he finally starts battling Natsuku in his like the giant inferno form.
Mhm.
And he's able to like cut off the arm and separate Natsuku from the body. And then you end up like as weird as the relationship is, you find out it ends up being that Kurino is Natsuku's bodyguard,
Yep.
and like the eighth is pretty much Shinra's. So it's still with like, oh, the pillars have their bodyguards just in a different form.
Mhm.
And like the Kurino's telling Natsuku, he's like, yo, it's weak. He's just like, yo, stay weak so I can keep tormenting you. He literally said, yo, stay weak so I can keep tormenting you.
That's
And
all
it
I
pretty
care
much
about.
Natsuku was just like, yeah. And he's just like, oh, all right. And that managed to calm him down. It's like it's twisted, but it worked. So it's
Mhm.
just like, if it works, man, we I guess we gotta work. We gotta
Gotta
go
go
with
with
it.
it.
We gotta go with it. And it's crazy. And there were like, I know it's manga, but there was like some filler stuff that I feel is kind of fillery. Like when, because afterwards they have the thing where obviously afterwards Hajima goes and meets with the eighth, and it was the Shimmershan talked to him and just like, yo, we got people. It's like, yo, Amaterasu was created by burning people with a Dolo burst. And the President Hajime was just like, yeah, yeah, we know. And he's like, yeah, we know. It's like without it, it's like, if we didn't have Amaterasu, you know how it would happen to people? There'd be so much devastation. If some people have to sacrifice themselves for it, what's the problem? And she was just like, "Are you kidding me?" But the way he broke it down was just like kind of twisted, and it was just like, "Oh yeah, we're using it like against you." And he's basically was just like, "Yo, you're a firefighter, right? It's like you risk your lives to save each other every day. How is this any different?" And it's like, "Damn, guy, what asking the hard questions."
Yep. Um, I was just gonna say I agree with you with the small fillers on in the manga, but I feel like that even though the fillers they kind of just like they still intertwine with the chapters and stuff. It's not like it goes full off base filler.
Yeah, and obviously, if it's written in the manga, it's more like not really filler. But like, so for me, like when I was reading it and I saw the chapter where Shinra and the sister go to the church. I'm just like, this wasn't really necessary. I guess it's more character like development with the sister because obviously after finding out the preacher, um, gone with the church, the preacher was the one who created the Holy Soul Temple. Like she was having doubts and losing her faith in the church was wavering, and
Yep.
obviously the sisters are pretty important to each force because they have to say the prayer to cleanse the souls
Latum.
and yeah, and liberate them before they can defeat them. So that was like it was so great. It was still part of the story because the sister needs to keep her faith, but for me it was just like I felt like there could have been more. I want to see the sister do more. If they're gonna go that, so give me more with the sister. Actually, show her doing some stuff, but she's not really.
There's more
She
to
doesn't.
come for the sister.
awesome,
That's more to
awesome.
come.
I can't wait. But yo, I will say this: there's one. I think it was just one chapter, but yo, I was crying the whole damn time
Which one?
because it was when the White Hoods activated assault. He was just like, "Yo, my training's complete. I'm coming after you, Tamaki." So he's trying to come after Tamaki just after their battle in the underground tunnels or when they were in the Nether. Obviously, Tamaki beat him with using her lucky lecture lore,
Right.
and so like he was like, "Yo, I," because they were just like, "Yo," and the way they said it, it was perfect too. Because the Whiteheads were talking about like, "Yo, is the training complete? Yeah, he's ready." And it's just like assault is on the move, and they're like the way his character design makes him seem like this beast. He makes it seem like this beast dude, and he probably is against anybody else except for Tamaki. But my favorite part though, is because he was talking about, oh, he's like, "Yo, Tamaki, she's such a devious woman and disgusting, despicable. I've done training to defeat her." And then they go to the next page. And then I go to the next page and it's just like, yeah, I watched porn. I was crying. That was his training to not get affected by Tamaki. This dude watched porn and read a bunch of porno magazines. And then he tried to take on Tamaki. And of course, when he tried to take her, because he sent her a note trying to be all like anonymous and whatnot. So they go to meet up. And so he tries to attack her. And of course, her lucky lecture alert activates again. And he shows up and like she falls over and he sees her panties and he was just like, it's different in real life and gets defeated. And they were like, they were just like, assault has been defeated again. They're like, yo, this opponent must be very strong. And I was like, yo, you guys have no idea what's going on. Why isn't anybody else going with this dude to watch his battle? It's the most
Bruh.
ridiculous thing. So he tried to get stronger. He's just like, so his next level of training, he went to the strip club. Try to get escorts. And then he's like, just like, all right, good. He's like, oh man, I had this conversation with a cute girl. He's like, that's pretty fine. I'm good. Try to go after Tamaki again. This time her clothes kind of got ripped, and he's just like, nope. So it's like, yo, still didn't work. He still got defeated. Yo, this dude got defeated 3 times by Tamaki.
Mhm.
And I'm just like, and thing is like, and the next chapter had nothing to do with it, just progressed. It was just like one of those in between things. And I'm just like, yo, this is a funny ass chapter. This has nothing to do with anything. Like, if they put this in the actual anime, I'm just gonna just die because it is so absurd. Like when you look at Assault's character and his character design, this dude actually looks like a legit beast.
Yeah.
But up against Tamaki, nope, he's just trash.
Yeah. He was like, wasn't he like feared by everyone because like he had so many kills and all that stuff, and then
Mm-hmm.
it
That's why
just
they
comes
give him
up
the
there,
name Assault.
and then he can't handle girls with clothes
But
coming
yeah,
off.
but when I tell you how hard I cried, he said I did so much training. I watched porn. I was, oh my gosh, it was hilarious. I couldn't believe it. I was just like, wow, this is so absurd. Like complete opposite of what you thought was gonna happen. I'm just like, yo, what intense training did this guy go through? And it was something completely ridiculous.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, if the only way to beat that Lucky Lair, I think that's probably the only training he can do.
But it's not working. It's not working at all in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah, I mean, maybe he secretly deep down inside actually likes Tamaki.
I think that's how it ended, right? 'Cause it was just like, yo, it's hard to go up against someone you like, but I'm just like, okay. Like, but if
Yeah,
that's the case, if he actually has feelings for her or something like, then that needs to get developed further along in the story if they're actually
yeah,
going to make that a thing, right? But I'm sorry, that would do that one chapter. Oh my goodness, that was the funniest chapter that I've read so
yeah.
far, and I was dying. Like it was just so ridiculous and absurd, like completely out of place from what I thought it was, where I thought it was going.
Mhm. Yeah, definitely. That comic relief, I like those ones.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean,
But
there's definitely more afterward, but kind of we're cutting it close here with the time. So no, we can talk. We can speak on that next week.
yes, sir. Should have some more chapter updates too. My Hero
Oh,
Academia. Not sure about One Punch, but
doubtful. I think that's monthly, isn't it?
I think so. I don't. Yeah, I feel like it's monthly.
Yeah, it might be coming in, and then we'll be able to talk more fireworks. I think, especially during holidays, they're not really releasing new stuff
I
like that.
No, I don't think they are. Good for
Yeah.
you to catch up though.
Mm-hmm. And I'll make sure to take notes this way we're not searching, we're not looking things up while we're talking. I mean,
Yeah.
it's part of it, can't remember everything, but yeah, ladies and gentlemen, that concludes another episode of Anime Brothers. Once again, I'm DiscipleDashni and TySoFly. Do your due diligence. Find us on Instagram at Anime Brothers and on Twitter at A Brothers. That is at ABROTHAZ.
Yes, sir.
Yes, if you like what you're listening to, leave a comment below. Even if you don't like it, give us some topics that you want to hear. Leave it in the comments below. Ty's in there posting almost daily on Instagram.
Mhm.
So let us know what you like. We are happy for any type of feedback that you want to give us. And yeah, we just want to talk to y'all. So leave some comments, all right?
Yes, sir. Love
And
it, people.
yes, we love you all, and we'll see you next week.
Hmm.
Any
And
out.
yeah, yeah.